Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? We're all doing very, very well. Now, somebody in their infinite wisdom jumped the gun from the House of Mouse, Disney, and leaked out the full trailer for Prey. Prey? Predator 5, to you and me, in the official Predator series. Was once known as Skulls, now known as Prey. And I've been bigging this up since I first got wind of this. And we got the teaser trailer was a couple of months ago, and I did a big video on that. I loved what I saw there. And this trailer has come out now, and it's been leaked and then been took down. Now, I would love to show you the trailer. I would love to do my little split screen sort of thing and show you me and my reactions to it, although I've seen it a million times. But to point out certain bits and bobs to you would be great. But I can't, because they took it down. Disney, in their infinite might, and world policing, they have took it down from everybody that I know. Although I'm sure if you go on some kind of foreign sites, you'll still find this. I've seen it, and I know sites where you can get it, but I'm not going to put links to it because it's just, I can't do it. And the thing is, now it's come out and people have seen it and they're reviewing it, and there's people who are doing like frame by frame breakdowns on it, but they're not showing the actual trailer. They're just doing it in absolute frame by frame and getting away with it. I'm not going to fuck around because no one might look. I'd get binned off and blocked and I'd get done, so what the fuck, So I'll just play some of the music from the previous Predator movies and a bit of Comanche style music from the film Hostiles, which I reviewed extensively a good while ago. Why Comanche? Because this film is set in the 1700s and it's a Comanche tribe who encounter a predator. And it takes out the tribe, and it falls down to a young girl, a teenage girl from the Comanche tribe who wants to be a hunter or huntress, what would you call them, I don't know, and prove her worth and save her brother and save her kin, her tribe from this horrible predator which is out there slaying them all. And I love it. I think the idea is incredibly good. I was right behind it from the start, and now having seen the teaser and now seeing this trailer a few times, like hi, and knowing that it's now been confirmed as being R-rated, it's what we wanted, it's what we demanded. I know it's going straight to streaming. I know all that. I'd love it to be cinematic as well. I'm not sure. Maybe in some territories it might be cinematic theatrical release. I don't know. I don't think so. Someone could correct me on that. I don't know. But it's due out in July, so it's only a few weeks away. Yay! And I loves me some Predator action. Oh, he does. And the minute I saw this, which was like the early hours of this morning, I thought, holy shit, this is great. The teaser was enigmatic, a little mysterious. It didn't really show much. It showed Amber, what's her name? Amber, when is it now? Amber Midthunter, a genuine Native American actress. And there's a few Native American actors in there as well, which is great. Now, first thing I noticed from this trailer was that she's out sort of on her own hunting with a dog. A dog, yeah, there's a bloody dog in it. Oh no, don't hurt the dog, whatever you do. And she speaks in Comanche native tongue and does like a little hand signal to this dog. Now, because they're both hunting together, a grizzly bear, shouldn't be doing that. And but people are going on about like, but they speak English, and in the rest of the trailer, they are definitely speaking English. Now, I think it's one of those films where they may start off speaking in their native tongue and then it'll bleed into them speaking English. I mean, obviously, we're not talking Apocalypto here. We're not talking the Passion of the Christ. This is going to be, it's for the masses, isn't it? So they're going to be speaking English. And for the sake of convenience, Christ, why the hell not? That doesn't bother me in the least. But if you go on the forums, you'll get loads of ranting and ravings about that. As well as the fact that it's now, obviously, it's a girl that's the hero. So what? Ripley, anybody? Oh, it's all woke, it's gone woke. No, it fucking hasn't. No, it hasn't. It's fine. Anyone can be a bloody hero. It doesn't really matter. And there's the thing, and I did a video on this specifically. Comanche women were bloody warriors too, and fucking savage as well. Nothing and nobody had vengeance and torture down to a T like the Comanche. They were unbelievably barbaric what they did. I did a video on this. Go check it out on a previous Prey video. I discussed the things the Comanches got up to, and the women were part of all this, a very integral part as well. So women were hunters, women were part of the tribe, women would fight as well. So there's no woke bollocks about this. So if you've got that kind of agenda going into this, you can fuck off because you're an idiot and you don't know your history. So swivel. Women were massively involved in carnage and slaughter and were great expert fighters. And the Comanche were the best horse riders that the American Indians ever had. They were the first and the greatest to own, a vast hordes of horses, and to use them properly. They were also known as dog soldiers. Their dogs would travel with them, and they were savage, and they weren't the nicest people. So I always found it a bit odd that to make heroes out of this culture, which was a warrior and a barbaric culture, even other tribes shunned them, hated them because they were terrified of them. Kind of is a bit strange, but hey, maybe it's trying to redress the balance. That they weren't all bad, and of course no one's all bad. No one race is all bad. No one creed is all bad. But anyway, the point is I like it, and I think it's a great idea. It's the dawn of the advancement of Europeans into mainland and inland America, North America, and they're encountering with native tribes, and they've got all flintlocks stuff. I say that because you see him in this trailer as well. I'm leaping ahead. Let's get back on track. This trailer has action, has great cinematography. It tells the story without giving too much away. Amber Midhunter, who plays, is it Naru? No, actually I've forgotten her name. She's basically saying, look, it's time for me to train, to hunt. I want to be part of the war party, whatever. Why? Well, I've seen a sign. What was the sign? In a great shot, she stood on one side of a chasm, enigmatically shot to a big deep gorge, and she's on one side of it. But up in the clouds, lightning, sizzling electricity. We know what it is. It's a cloaked predator ship coming down, and she sees this. I've seen it's been a sign. I know it's my time to join the tribe and join the war party. And so she's gonna do this. Then we cut to various bits of her trying to hunt down. Well, it seems like she's hunting down a grizzly bear. Now you guys know that I've took up archery lately, and although I knew a lot about archery to begin with, but this film seems to have that strangely, I've seen it before, but I can't find any real historical precedent for it. She's got her bow and she's holding it like that. She's pulling, the drawstring back and the arrow, but like that, not like this, Very strange. Now, I've looked into this, and in other movies, you do have Native Americans shooting arrows like that, with that sort of reversed hand. But looking into it, I've not seen any reason why that was the case, or whether it was truly genuine. But clearly, I think it must be, because this is a film where you're going to have Native American First Nation advisors who are going to be on set, and if they're saying, well, this is how I was taught how to hunt with a bow. This is what we did. This is how we, drew the string and, unleashed the arrow. This is what we did. So, if that's what they were taught, that's what they're bestowing upon the actors in this. So, can't argue with that. But anyway, it does look good, but looks odd to me because I'm firing arrows every day now and I'm loving it. Anyway, and she's there and with her dog, and she seems to incur the wrath by missing a grizzly bear, and it comes after her. Now, it's been leaked by the director and the producers all said that that grizzly bear which comes after it is a combination of CGI and a great big guy in a big fairy suit. But it looks amazing, and shit does it look amazing. There's loads of connections made to The Revenant with this, because this bear, it kind of cuts away. I think part of a chase has took place, which we don't see in the trailer, and she's running through like this river, and this bear's coming down, fucking big thing, coming down after her, like, Jesus, like that. And then she dives under the water, and she comes up within like a big beaver dam, and she gets herself inside that. Shades of Arnie Dutch in the first Predator, crawling up out the river and like bringing himself up as the Predator comes out uncloaked from the water, and he's like just bedecked in mud and gets away with it. It looks like that to me, and she's in there, but this bear's going for her, coming in, and then suddenly the bear goes, slumps and disappears out of shot, and she's like, and next thing you know, the bear gets hoisted up by a Predator who is, because of the water, he's glitching, so you can see bits of him. He's holding this grizzly bear aloft, which really get, shit. God, they're strong. They're genuinely strong. That's a big, dead grizzly bear, which he's got there. So, and then you get other sequences of, I made a few notes, which I now can't read, of course. But then you've got her saying, like, it's time for me. I want to join, the tribe and all that. You can hear the birds out there now doing their best to sort of mimic the sound, the weird noises that predators make. So don't go thinking I've arranged this. They're not acting for me. They're just getting involved. Listen to it. And you don't see the dog again after this, at that point. And you're kind of thinking like, oh God, no, please, don't you dare kill that dog. I've got a feeling that dog will come back into it again. I hope so. And doesn't die in the process. But anyway, you will then see the tribe going out. You will see moments of them going. The cinematography, by the way, is gorgeous. Looking at this trailer, the cinematography is fantastic. The landscape. This is not 10 Cloverfield Lane. This is vast. Think the jungles of the initial Predator movie, the first Arnie's Predator movie, and the cityscape of Predator 2. Think of that. Think of Predators with Adrian Brody and all that lot. Alice Braga, whatever her name is. And I like Predators. I think it's not bad, apart from that horrible middle section with Lawrence Fishburne, which is just shit beyond belief. I hate that section. Remove that, make a shorter film, and I'm right on board with it. I think it really works. But anyway, so the cinematography is tremendous, and it's so much bigger in scope. Anyone thinking, they're not going to release it theatrically, it's dead cheap, it's dead low budget. It does not look that at all. It looks exciting, vibrant, active, huge, colossal in scope. The landscapes, the cinematography, the lighting, everything looks amazing. There's no ropey CGI, maybe an eagle flying past, which is obviously added in, but because the maneuver it makes is kind of like, it's just for the scene. But doesn't matter. It looks incredible. Amber Midthunter with the makeup on, her tribal makeup, looks incredible. The black across the eyes, which makes her eyes, when she stares, big huge white orbs, like, oh my God, and she's forever staring in terror and or rage at something. You've got that scene which you did see briefly in the teaser, where she runs out from the woods into a big sort of wheat field, cornfield, whatever you want to call it, long grass, big tall grass meadow, and someone pulls her down. In fact, it's actually Amber Midthunter that pulls a guy down by the looks of things, one of her tribe, and he's looking back into the tree line, and you can see now that there is a predator cloaked standing there. So he gets his arrow and he's doing this shit as well like that, and then you see the the little triangular sort of targeting device on his bonce, and then she pulls him down, and you actually see the blast go past him like that, and I think it hits a tree in the background and blows the tree up. It's great. You've got combat scenes in here. Oh, sorry, just before I go on to those, that scene seems to go on where the two of them, an overhead shot, the two of them running through this long grass field, and a bit like The Lost World, Jurassic Park 2, where you've got them in the big tall grass and the raptors are coming in. You can see them running through the field, this long grass wavering, and you can see almost like a shark fin cutting through the long grass behind them. But you can also see the cloaked predator storming after them. And it's almost like, look, he could catch them. Of course he could. Maybe it's a female predator, because they've also been leaking stuff that maybe this is a female one. And again, before you start getting all woke and say, oh, they're a warrior caste, a warrior society. The females would be just as violent and just as well trained and highly motivated as the males, like the Comanche woman. Now, let's just go back on that. As I said before, in reality, the Comanche women were strong fighters, resilient warriors, renowned and feared as well, just the same as the men. But the film does seem to make a point of her saying, like, I want to join the tribe, I want to join the hunting party, I'm ready. And it does kind of come across as like, well, almost like it's because I'm a woman that I can't do this, but I'm going to prove my worth. I'm hoping that they don't do it that way, that she just is it's just like she's just one of the tribe who wants to prove herself, whether it be male or female, it really wouldn't matter. But I'm going to fight, I'm going to do this. And it obviously is the case where she will save some of her people, and obviously her brother, who she's trying to save completely, when all the shit happens and the predator starts taking him out. Left, right, and indeed centaur. And so you see this overhead shot there running, and this thing is coming after him, which is great. You see lots of cloaking of the predator in this, because obviously they're not going to show it too well. You've got that brilliant, well, you see it in the thumbnail and some of the early posters for it, where she's there with the bow and arrow and in the swirling grey mist, and it's just stuck behind it, and you've got the targeting, the laser cannon, the plasma cannon, plasma cast, I think it's called, is sighting up on her. You've got that. And you do see imagery of that in here, in the enigmatic fog and the mist and just these lights. But there's loads of it being cloaked, and the cloaking looks different, where it was kind of in all the films you've seen before, it's all very electronic and you've got this sort of like, it looks great, but it's also, it's of a certain style. In this, it looks more organic. Again, it's meant to be because they are blending the landscape around them into their cloaking device. So when it glitches or you kind of change your perspective, you can see, hang on a minute, is there a Fox's Glacier mint in front of that tree there? What's going on there? Well, in this, there's a different kind of, there's reds and browns and orange and sort of earthy colours that come into it. But it's reflecting the landscape that they're in. In the jungle, it was always going to be green, So, but the primitive effects then, it was kind of like all this glitchy sort of stuff, like and kind of glistening. So to make sure you could see it. But now it looks even better. It looks better again. There's lots of shots during some of the combat scenes, which I'll come on to, where you can see very, very bright what could be predator blood. Because when when the big man was killed, you must have wounded it. Its blood was on the leaves. You've got that. And in some shots, you see blood on the predator itself, sort of dripping and glistening down. But there's lots of shots of like our heroine, our hero, and you can see blood. If you freeze it, there's blood. Well, there's something green in the background, which is on like a rock or a tree, or a bit of earth, and it's got to be pred blood. It's got to be. Can't think of anything else it would be. The Predator does seem to have different weaponry. People have been saying like, and these are the dickheads on the forums who are like, Arnie and all his men with their high-tech technology, they had to fight and they got picked off one by one. How are these guys going to fight when they've got bows and arrows and knives and axes? It's irrelevant. People are using what the skills they have, their tactics, their strategies they have to fight this enemy. And Arnie went back to basics. At the end of Predator, he went back to camouflage and using the jungle, using the environment and making weapons, a bow and arrow, knife, spears, albeit with leaf-wrapped gunpowder and explosives in there. But he went back to basics and booby traps. And he was going to die. He won by luck and luck alone. He had the shit kicked out of him. So people are going like, well, and how's a woman meant to do that then? Well, watch the film. Stop. I fucking hate people that do this. Straight away, they're knee-jerk. Oh, it's a woman. I've said before, Ripley, of all people. Christ, Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor. How many, and there's fucking loads more, who are expert, fighters, killers, survivors. Look at Jamie Lee Curtis from Halloween. For fuck's sake, how many final girls survive and kill this slaughtering, behemoth, serial killing, supernatural bastard at the end and survive? All of them, all of the women survive at the end, all of the final girls survive. So, and this, just because it's a woman, and I've just explained that women in that warrior society were just as powerful and in fact, if not more savage. Women, the female is always more deadly than the male. We know this for a fact, and they are. I was going to go back into history there, and like some of the Plains, Sioux and Cheyenne, Indian women were doing all the disemboweling, the torturing of captured whites and US cavalrymen, and fighting the Afghans. When the British redcoats went in there, it was the women that came out that did all the torturing and the brutality and the atrocities on the captured British soldiers. So, don't go saying, oh, it's just for woke. Fuck that. If these women got hold of you, they'd skin you alive, but they'd take their time doing it, and they'd really enjoy doing it. They'd keep you alive for days and days and days in absolute exquisite agony, and they'd enjoy doing it. Think on with your woke bullshit. There's plenty of woke shit which is taking place in movies, and I'm sick of it myself. I hate it. But that's not this movie. That is not this movie. I do not believe that for 1 second. I think they've taken a different angle on a well-worn, tried and trusted path with Predator. It's always been the same fucking thing, But now they're making it a woman who's going to be the hero. And she's going. I can guarantee you, she's going to go through bloody hell to try and win this. She might not even win. How do I know? How do any of us know she even wins? But she's the one that tries to come up with the goods and tries to fight back. Because obviously her warrior brethren will fight against this, and you do see it. In fact, there's one shot of a Comanche brave riding up in slow motion, and he looks like he's carrying not one of his own fighting spears. It looks like he's got one of the an earlier version of the Predator spear, which can it becomes bigger, becomes longer. It could be like they can pick people up and skewer them and throw them over their heads, or they can throw them with like a javelin. And he's got one of these, and it's shorter, and he throws it, and you see this. You also see whiteies, some white boys are in here too, and it just comes in, and you've got suddenly in this fog enshrouded battle in the woods, you've got these flintlock percussion musket holders who are clearly European with big floppy hats and weird stuff, I can't tell you where they're from. English, French, what I don't know, but it's gonna be them. You know, it's gonna be English or French because they're the ones who were there, or Portuguese maybe. I don't know. But and you see them in a line firing, but the Predator's moving around, and you see in one great shot. You've got to watch it properly. It'll come out, folks. You're going to get this full trailer. It will come out officially. But I'm just jumping the gun now. And you're going to have this guy picks up, he's got an axe, and he's going to bring it down on the Predator, who you only see in brief shots. But if you look at it, the dreadlocks are long on it, really long. So maybe it's a woman, like a female Predator. I don't know. And what it does, he uses, you know, it's hand claws, and it grabs the axe and flips the axe, which goes, and it catches it and then goes fuck off right into this guy's head. Whoosh, ah. You also see that spear. Amber Midthunder, in this scene sees things happening and hides behind a tree, and she's like that. And you see this spear being flung, and then in the same shot as her recoiling behind this tree, you see part of somebody get skewered and impaled to a tree. And it looks like, is it either a head or is it like a bit of, I don't know, grizzle and entrails? It's, you go, oh, it does look nasty. The film does look very violent and very nasty. It's what we want, it's what we need, it's what you crave for a Predator movie. And you see the Predator jumping as well. There's at least 2 shots of it being on top of a tree, and the camera's sort of moving down here, and there's people moving about, and it's on top of a tree up there. A bit like John Rambo in First Blood. He's on top of the tree when he comes down and skewers that boar. It's up there, but as the camera moves around, it leaps across from this tree to another tree, and it just looks great. And it sort of flings its arms back, and muscle-bound legs propel it across like that. It looks great. It does look really, really good. I am genuinely really, really fired up by this. I was to begin with. I like the premise. I like the idea of it. I like, you know, going back in history, going back in time, having Preds fighting all sorts of different warrior classes. But I love Native American history. I'm massively smitten with that. Like anything tribal, I'm hugely I embrace, and I often wear. You know, I have Lakota Sioux Indian feathers, which I wear in my hair a lot. I may actually go for something that the Comanche wore, depending on how this film turns out. I may not, depending on this film turns out. but I love the premise of this guerrilla warfare. The American Special Forces learnt a lot from Native Americans and their guerrilla warfare. Everyone learns a lot from indigenous peoples that use the land and use the tactics and the environment and the nature and natural elements to make weapons out of. And they would defeat anyone that came in who did not know the land. Any outsider would be just destroyed because they couldn't compete with it. So a lot of Special Forces tactics, commando and guerrilla tactics, are from people like Native Americans, Aborigines, you know, the Zulu. A lot of these people bestowed so many tactics and strategies to our, what we, you know, Navy SEALs, fuck yeah, and our SAS, SBS, all of this. Where do you think all those ideas and ideology came from? People like this. So who's going to defeat a predator? Someone who knows the land, someone who lives there, who knows the tools, knows how they can live off the land, certain routes, certain things they can make camouflage with, the way they can use and secrete themselves into the landscape, camouflage wise, and then come up using primitive weapons and old primitive bestial sort of tactics as well, pure savagery and barbarity. That's what it takes. And my God, I think this film in this trailer definitely shows all of this is taking place. There is some dialogue, as I say in it. I think it's time for me. I can join the party, whatever it's like. There's someone out there, but I don't know what it is. But I think I can kill it. And it's a great sort of like a slogan. What is it? They hunt to live, right? Meaning Comanche. And it says, it lives to hunt. The predator, of course. I just think it looks incredible. And no, I really fucking wish I could show you this. And the irony being that probably tomorrow, or within the next 12 hours, maybe tonight, whatever, that trailer will be dropped officially. Because now it's been out, they're going to have to do it. But I can't show you it right now. But what I will do, I guarantee when it does drop officially, I'll do a little split screen and we will discuss it at length. Now, I'm sure there was something else I wanted to mention. Oh yeah, the axe catch, the body parts of the tree, the great photography. Oh, I mentioned the language, didn't I? Oh yeah, that grizzly bear at the start. Well, when you see the pred later on, in those little brief shots that you do see of it, and you see it up close, it does appear to be wearing a skull on its head, and the skull looks like that of a grizzly bear. So it's obviously that bear that it caught, which saved her. It's done this little thing. It's skinned it, got its skull there, but it's wore it as a trophy on its head. I love that. I love that whole. I mean, I've spoken about hunting before. I'm an ex-hunter, and I intend to be back on hunting. But but from this sort of perspective, I totally, I know, I understand where it comes from. I killed this. I'm gonna wear this. I defeated it, because predators are hunters, And I fucking cannot wait for this movie. I've forgotten the date it comes out. Now, let's just have a little look. Have I got it there? Have I got it on the screen? Oh fuck! Prey is scheduled to be released by 20th Century Fox Studios as a Hulu original film on August the 5th. August the 5th? I thought it was July. Well, it's only a month after, I know. So, okay. It is not that far off. And this trailer will clearly drop. You've got, who else have you got on it? You've got Dakota Beavers, Dane DeLigrio as the Predator. Now that's the thing, because the Predator, it's tall. When you see it striding around, albeit in brief little snippets, but enough to capture it, and you go, oh my god, that looks great. He does look great. He's not one of these squat fucking muscle-bound things, which is dead load. And, it's just a bodybuilder or a fucking wrestler. This does have the stature and the height of, Kevin Peter Hall playing the initial Predator. It's up there, but it is still big and muscle-bound, but tall. And, it's got that grandiose stature to it, which fucking works for me. What else was it? The arrow grip, yeah, got that. The jumping pred, yeah, mentioned that. Grizzly bear, the dog, let's hope the dog doesn't die. The language, yeah, they're definitely speaking English, innit? They are speaking English, but she does talk to the dog, as I said before, and just says something to it, and then does a little hand signal, like the dog. They've got commands for dogs with well, of course they have. That's how we evolved to train dogs, with hand signals and sit and all that kind of shit. Just don't get shit and sit confused. Shit! Oh, I didn't mean that. But it works. So I've got a feeling they're gonna seek from speaking their native language, and then it's gonna drift into English, which I don't mind that. It just it's bleeding you into their civilization, their society, their way of life. I like that. I hope that's the case. I'm making that up. I don't know. Might not be that way at all. The directors and producers also sort of leaked that it may be a female Predator, and that could work. As I said before, I don't mind that, because if your hero's going to be female, why not have the aggressor being female? I don't have an issue with either way. A female Predator and a male hero. A female hero and a female. Hang on, fuck this. A female hero and a male Predator. God almighty. And who's to say there's only one Predator? That image that she sees, which is on the on one side of a cliff wall, this deep chasm, and this in the clouds, which is a cloaked Predator ship, quite clearly coming down, or it's about to release a drop ship with a Predator on board, and then it's going to fucking take off. she sees that light show as a sign to herself, spiritual sign. But I thought I was going to say with that now. Who's to say that there's only one predator? Because there might be more on board that, and it doesn't go anywhere. So after it all, she defeats it finally with a spear through its neck, green blood jetting everywhere, like the old Comanche phrase for "fuck you," or "you're one ugly motherfucker," and then suddenly a load more suddenly appear behind it. It just goes like, "Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding," whatever. I don't know. There may be more. I hope this puts Predator back on the right track. The Predator from Shane Black, who should have known better, and because he was Hawkins in the initial movie. I don't give two shits about the fact that the producers and the studio interfere with his movie. His movie must have been shit enough for them to fuck around with. His movies have always been ultra dialogue heavy and loads of savvy fucking clever, or so he thinks, clever dialogue. I am not a big fan of Shane Black stuff. Lethal Weapon, yes, but with caveats. You know how much I love Lethal Weapon, but Last Boy Scout, Long Kiss Goodbye, oh fuck off, and The Predator was just sheer fucking garbage. I despised it with a vengeance. Even though one of my great unsung heroes, Thomas Jane, is in there, and I love him, and he's piling out movies all the time, and I do think he's great. I do love anything he's attached to, although, well, I say I love the fact he's attached to it, and then I watch it and go, oh god, why did you do that? That's fucking rubbish. But you're still good, I still like you. I don't know. Where do I go? There's a guy called Julian Black Antelope in here as well. So they are using Native Americans in here. And as I say, the cinematography is great. It's by a fella called Jeff Cutter. Who is doing the music? That's what I want to know. Doesn't say here. Does not say there. I mean, the name might be out now. I'm surprised I do not know it, actually, but... Because you've got Alan Silvestri did the first two. John Debney did a phenomenal score for Predators, which took on board everything, all the main themes that Silvestri did. And Silvestri's scores for Predator 1 and Predator 2 are just, you're hearing it now, are just off the scale. I love him. I've done it, loads of videos on Predator. You know this, but John Debney did a great score, which was a pure homage to the initial first two movies, and really took on board all those themes and really, really worked with energy and a bit more sort of electro guitar pizzazz to it. It just gave a whole new element, but it had all those themes too. I really hope and pray that we get something akin to that, as powerful, as exciting, as adrenaline driven as those scores. They might not be as militaristic, I would have thought not, but they'd be tribal. You'd have lots and lots of, I would expect, sort of tribal percussion, tribal drums, giving it loads. That'd be great. But get a recap of some of the Predator stuff as well, just to tie it all in. Because the film otherwise does look like its own entity, because of that cinematography, because of the landscape, because it's Native Americans fighting now. It does have its own identity already, even though you've got all the tropes of the laser sighting and that mask, bio mask, and the hand claws and all that sort of stuff. You've got all that sort of stuff, and obviously alien technology and spaceships and that sort of thing. But it already has its own distinct identity and personality, and that already is a winner for me. This trailer looks great. If it's out there now, folks, by the time you watch this, if it's still available, and there are, some of you will know where to look. Some of you have probably seen it and you go, now, yeah, seen it, Kilt-Man, yeah. This is old news, mate. I know it is. But it got took down from everybody that I know who does this sort of thing. It was gone. It was gone straight away. Disney, the power that it had, just pulled the rug from under everyone. And I'm not going to, obviously, incur the wrath of a mouse. But as soon as it's out officially, I'll do a proper a plopper. I'll do a plopper. I'll be shitting myself. Yeah, I'll do a proper full-blown discussion on the trailer, and we'll discuss it as it's happening. You know, I'll do a split screen thing. So anyway, folks, there you go. Predator 5, aka Prey, which looks phenomenal, and I really think, and I'm truly hoping and praying that it puts the franchise back on path. Because I don't mind having more Predator films. Just make good ones. It's all, you know, you're hardly asking much, are you? But all your AVP, oh God, get lost. What was AVP, the first one? Who was the hero in that? Well, a predator for one thing, and a female human. So it's hardly fucking unique to have a female lead in a Predator movie who's going to save the day and fight the good fight. The fucking bird's laughing at me, isn't it? Anyway, and it comes out on Hulu, yeah, and Disney Plus. So that's how I'll get to see it on Disney Plus. And by the way, can't wait. Genuinely can't wait. Looks amazing. Folks, I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. There's probably a bit of missed out there. The guys with the old, you know, flintlocks looks great. They're in a firing line, but they're all going to get taken out. You know that. I wonder how are they going to work together with the last surviving Comanches to try and, you know, fight the Predator off. I don't know. Somehow I would doubt it. Somehow I would doubt they'd work together. Hair tribe will be decimated, or a lot of them. The war party, hunting party decimated. The Europeans wiped out, fucking wiped out. That's what I predict. She will save the day and save her brother, perhaps, and save the tribe, the settlement. Anyway, who knows? It's up on the air, isn't it? But I'm way looking forward to this. So, folks, I have been always Shelby Kilt-Man, a massive, massive devotee of all things predatory. And yeah, we're looking forward to it. So please comment below, let me know what you think. Have you seen the trailer? Do you give any shit of this movie at all? Because some people don't. Some people are like, oh, it's Predator's gone, it's gone. The first one was great, the second one was pants, the second one's great, by the way, but a lot of people don't like it. And then all the rest, just like, shite, Predator's dead in the water. Well, it clearly isn't. And by this, it's got a lot of life left in it, and it's gonna come back and it's gonna fucking bite you, good style. I think this looks great. R-rated. You can see the violence that's gonna be in this, because they're obviously holding back a lot of stuff. Obviously, it's only a minute and a half long trailer, but my God, it already shows a lot of set pieces and a lot of great stuff. Great Predator action. This jumping stuff is just great, and just rising up behind people, and the axe flip. Come on now. Come on. Predator. Might be an ugly motherfucker, but we love him. We love him. Or hair. Could be hair as well. Folks, I'm going to see you all. Leaders. Something out there. It's going to kill all of us. It ain't no man. It's a woman.